The moment you raise your voice to be heard, you have already admitted that you have no power. You've been told that to be a leader, you must be the loudest, the most expressive, and the most vulnerable. This is a lie designed to keep you at the bottom of the hierarchy. The harsh truth is that the world does not listen to those who beg for attention. It listens to those whose silence is more threatening than a shout. Picture yourself in a meeting, a dinner, or a simple conversation. You speak and the air doesn't change. People talk over you. They look at their phones. You are background noise in your own life. You are invisible because you are safe. Today, we are going to dismantle that safety. We are going to replace your goodness with gravitas. You have spent your life playing by a set of rules that don't exist in the real world. You think that if you are polite, if you wait your turn, and if you explain yourself clearly, people will grant you the respect of their attention. But your biology is betraying you. The human brain is evolutionarily wired to filter out predictable stimuli. When you are constant, when you are agreeable, and when you are always available, you become white noise. Most people mistake being nice for being influential, and it is destroying their ability to lead. You know the feeling, the hot flash of shame when you're interrupted mid-sentence and no one asks you to finish. This happens because the primitive brain of everyone around you has read your signals and categorized you as a low-status provider. You have trained them to ignore you by offering your thoughts for free, at any time, in any volume. This is the consequence of avoiding conflict and seeking approval. You aren't being good, you are being weak. And in the theater of power, weakness is the only unforgivable sin. You are not alone in this trap, but you are the only one who can spring it. Niccolo Machiavelli was not a villain. He was a realist in a world of delusional optimists. He looked at the blood-soaked floors of the Italian Renaissance and realized that power doesn't belong to the best person, but to the one who best understands the mechanics of human nature. We are going to dissect 13 ruthless laws that will transform your voice into a weapon and your presence into a fortress. But be warned, this is not self-help. This is self-conquest. This knowledge is irreversible. Once you understand how to manipulate the attention of the room, you lose the comfort of being a victim. If you're not ready to kill the part of you that craves the approval of the herd, leave now. For the rest of you, welcome to the desert of the real. Let's begin. Law 1. The Law of Strategic Absence. The most primitive desire of the human ego is for that which is scarce. In the world of economics, value is determined by supply and demand. In the world of human interaction, your value is determined by your presence. The reason no one listens to you is that you are always there. Machiavelli understood that it is much safer to be feared than loved. And nothing creates more fear than the possibility of your total withdrawal. Your words have no weight because they are infinite. To become someone people listen to, you must first become someone people miss. In practice, this means speaking 50% less than you currently do. When you are in a group, let the silence hang until it becomes uncomfortable. The weak man rushes to fill the void. The powerful man allows the void to consume the room. When you finally speak after a long period of silence, the perceived value of your words triples. You are no longer just talking. You are granting the room a piece of your mind. Law 2. The Law of the Sovereign Frame. Most people live in other people's realities. They respond to questions they didn't want to answer, and they justify themselves to people they don't respect. The moment you offer an explanation, you have handed the other person the keys to your throne. Machiavelli noted that a prince should never be seen to be influenced by others. Your words must be the frame, not the painting inside it. Here is how this works in real life. Stop explaining why. If someone asks you why you did something, a Machiavellian response is often a simple statement of fact or a redirected question. Picture this. A colleague asks, "Why didn't you follow the standard protocol?" The weak response is, "Well, I thought maybe it would be faster this way, and I was trying to..." You've already lost. The sovereign response is, "The protocol was insufficient for the goal. This is the new direction." Notice the difference. One is a plea for understanding. The other is an announcement of reality. Law 3. The law of the lion and the fox. To command attention, you must be a master of the dual nature. Machiavelli wrote, "A prince must be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. If you are only a lion, brash, loud, and aggressive, people will listen out of fear, but they will eventually conspire to silence you. If you are only a fox, cunning, quiet, and indirect, people will overlook you as a mere shadow. This law requires you to use the lion for your delivery and the fox for your content. Your voice should have the steadiness and resonance of the lion, suggesting a capacity for force, while your words should be as surgical as the fox. Do not show your hand. Speak in certainties, but keep your ultimate goals hidden. This creates a psychological tension where people listen to you not just because they want to, but because they are afraid of what they might miss if they don't. Law 4. The law of emotional detachment. The person who cares the least about the outcome of a conversation always has the most power in it. This is the law of the fortress. Your brain interprets emotional volatility as a sign of weakness and low status. When you get angry, high-pitched, or frantic, you are telling the room that they have power over your internal state. Machiavelli knew that the most effective leaders were those who could remain cold while the world burned. To be listened to, your emotional frequency must remain lower than the room's. If someone attacks you, do not defend. Simply watch them. The unreactive gaze is a devastating tool. By not reacting, you force them to fill the silence with their own insecurity. They will keep talking, digging their own hole, while you remain the immovable object that everyone must eventually orbit. Law 5. The law of the necessary sting. If you are always nice, your words have no edge. People listen to a knife. They ignore a pillow. Machiavelli argued that cruelty, when used surgically and at the right time, is more merciful than a lingering weak kindness. In modern social terms, this means you must be willing to be unpleasant when your boundaries are crossed, or when you are being ignored. This isn't about being a bully, it's about being dangerous. When someone interrupts you, don't stop talking. Keep your pace, or stop completely. Look them in the eye, and wait for them to finish before saying, "As I was saying before I was interrupted," and then continue exactly where you left off. Do not smile. Do not apologize. The sting reminds them that ignoring you carries a social cost. Once people realize that your presence has teeth, they will listen with much more focus. Law 6. The law of selective candor. Honesty is often a sign of a weak mind that cannot handle the weight of a secret. However, total secrecy makes you untrustworthy. Machiavelli's fox knows how to use truth as a tactical distraction. This is the art of revealing a small, unimportant vulnerability to mask your larger strengths or intentions. By occasionally being brutally honest about something minor, you build a bridge of trust that you can use later. When you speak with this calculated honesty, people perceive you as an authentic person. Then, when you speak on matters of importance, your words are taken as gospel. Use candor like a spice. Too much ruins the dish, but just enough makes the entire meal memorable. Law 7. The law of the high stake. People don't listen because there's nothing at stake. If your conversation is just the exchange of pleasantries, it has no weight. You must learn to tie your words to consequences. Machiavelli understood that people are motivated by two things: fear and interest. In practice, this means framing your speech around what is at stake for the listener. Instead of saying, "I think we should do X," say, "If we don't do X, we lose Y." By constantly attaching your ideas to the listener's survival or gain, you force their biological systems to prioritize your voice. You aren't just a person talking. You are the bearer of their fortune or their failure. Law 8. The law of the final word. The person who speaks last usually controls the memory of the conversation. Most people are so desperate to be heard that they vomit their ideas at the start, only to have them dismantled or forgotten by the end. Machiavelli advised the prince to let his advisors speak first so he could gather intelligence and then deliver the final, unarguable decree. Wait. Let everyone exhaust their energy. Let the room become cluttered with opinions. When the energy begins to dip, that is when you step in. Summarize the mess, discard the noise, and provide the path forward. Because you waited, your words act as the resolution to the tension of the room. The human brain craves closure, and by being the one who provides it, you become the authority figure by default. Law 9. The law of the low volume. There is a massive difference between being loud and being heard. The most powerful man in the room is often the one who speaks so softly that others must stop moving to hear him. This is the law of the gravity well. By lowering your volume slightly below the ambient noise of the room, you force others to exert effort to listen to you. Investment creates value. If I have to lean in to hear you, my brain subconsciously decides that what you are saying must be valuable because I am working for it. If you shout, I lean back. If you whisper, I lean in. Stop competing with the noise. Make the noise compete with you. Law 10. The law of unpredictability. The human mind is a pattern recognition machine. Once your pattern is known, you are solved. And once you are solved, you are ignored. Machiavelli observed that nothing gives a prince more prestige than great enterprises and setting a rare example. If you are always the logical one or always the supportive one, people will stop listening because they already know what you're going to say. To be listened to all the time, you must occasionally break your own mold. Disagree when they expect agreement. Be silent when they expect a roar. This tactical unpredictability creates a threat state in the listener's subconscious, forcing them to pay close attention to you because they can no longer predict your next move. Law 11. The law of the masked intent. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Machiavelli's most famous principle is the separation of persona and reality. If people know exactly what you want, they can filter your words through your bias. If they don't know your intent, they must listen to every word to find the clue. Keep your ultimate goals in the shadows. Speak in terms of the common good or the project's success while moving toward your personal objective. When your intent is masked, your words take on a mysterious quality. People will find themselves dissecting what you said hours after you said it, trying to find the hidden meaning. You are now living in their head rent-free. Law 12. The law of the integrated shadow. A harmless man is not a good man. A harmless man is just a rabbit. People do not listen to rabbits. They eat them. This law draws from Carl Jung's shadow work. To have a voice that commands, you must have integrated your capacity for darkness. When you speak, there should be a faint scent of danger on your words. This doesn't mean being aggressive. It means having the weight of someone who could be aggressive but chooses to be civil. This undercurrent of force is what creates presence. It is the difference between a toy sword and a sheathed blade. People listen to the blade because of what it could do. Law 13. The law of the eternal return. Never overstay your welcome. The final law of Machiavellian communication is knowing when to stop. The moment you have delivered your point, leave. Do not linger for small talk. Do not wait for a reaction. Machiavelli understood that familiarity breeds contempt. By leaving the moment you are finished, you leave the room wanting more. You create a vacuum of presence that your audience will try to fill by thinking about what you just said. You don't become someone everyone listens to by talking all the time. You do it by making the time you do talk the most significant part of their day. You're listening to this thinking about how to use these laws on your boss, your partner, or your friends. But you're missing the point. The reason you want control over others is that you currently have no control over yourself. Techniques are useless if your soul is fragile. You can memorize the laws, but if your eyes are darting around seeking approval while you speak, no one will listen. The ultimate reverse psychology is on yourself. You must integrate your monster. As Carl Jung said, I would rather be whole than good. To be whole means acknowledging that you have the capacity to be ruthless, to be silent, and to be dangerous. Only when you accept this darkness can you truly choose to be virtuous in the Machiavellian sense, which is to be effective. The world will try to pull you back into the nice guy trap because it makes you easier to manage. You must be willing to be unmanageable to become sovereign. Imagine a version of you 6 months from now. This version of you doesn't speak to fill the silence. When this version of you enters a room, the atmosphere shifts, not because you're loud, but because you are heavy. People stop their side conversations when you open your mouth. They don't interrupt you because they are afraid of the silence that would follow. The old you, apologizing for having an opinion. The new you, stating your reality and letting others adjust to it. The old you, being the reliable background character. The new you, being the architect of the conversation. There is a price for this. You will lose friends who only liked you because you were easy to walk on. Your family may tell you that you've changed. There is a profound loneliness that comes with sovereignty. This is the tax you pay for greatness. You have a choice: the comfort of the herd or the freedom of the wolf. You cannot have both. If you're still here, you're part of the 0.01%. Most people turn this off the moment it got uncomfortable. They've already gone back to their lives of being ignored and interrupted. Subscribe to this channel, not to support us, but to make a contract with yourself. This is your commitment to never be a puppet again. We don't teach you how to fit in. We teach you how to transcend. The rabbit hole goes much deeper than this. Start today. In your next conversation, intentionally say 50% less than you want to. Watch the shift in the other person's eyes. Watch them try to earn your words. I'll see you in the shadows.